I'm Mark Callahan, Mr. Saltwater Tank, coming to you on behalf of SaltwaterAquarium.com. We're here at Unique Corals. We're going to get a tour of their lobby tanks because they got some unique tanks that I really haven't seen before. Come check it out.
Hey.
There's the man, Joe Cap.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
Cool.
We got several tanks to look at. Which one do you want to start with?
Yeah. Let's start with this one. This is the theme here. Is kind of like a traditional standard reef tank. Your rectangular tank in a corner or against the wall, center overflow. No real special theme going on here, but I think this kind of represents a good majority of the tanks that we see out in the country, or everywhere.
100-ish, 150-ish gallons, 180?
Yeah, I think this one is probably around 150.
Okay.
Right there, it's an aquaforest tank. And this one is, we've got Marco rocks in here that...
And this is all runoff Triton-method.
Yeah, we're running, this one does not have a refugium. We're using other methods, but it's still the Core 7 product line.
Okay.
So this is balancing all of our major ions and our traces as well.
And run with X4s, the Lumen Magics.
Yep.
Hydro Wizards in here.
There's one Hydro Wizard, but we've got this thing pulsing up and then ramping down. I think it hits about 60%, otherwise it starts to blow the sand too much. We could probably put it in the corner and aim it up, but they're super powerful and you get that nice laminar flow, so it really gets everything moving. This is going to be a little bit of an issue, I could tell though. I mean, to put a Monty in there and just have it start plating out, before you know it's going to touch there, here, the Bacillopora. Yep.
I mean, I was going to say, you got Monty Cap and a Bacillopora. You got two weeds, but one that sends bombs and spreads, Joe.
But it's such a cool coral. Like, I love walking by and looking at it right here. This is like a reef building coral, you know. As a fish guy for many, many years, we used to sell the bleached coral skeletons of Bacilloporas and stuff like that, and to be able to have it live is really cool. But this is like a broadcast spawner, so all of a sudden you'll see them growing, like we have them on the sides of the raceways. You gotta pluck them out. Yeah, it's a weed.
It's a nice problem to have.
Right.
Beautiful tank though.
Thank you.
We've got a smaller reef tank over here, but there's no power heads on this tank that I'm seeing.
Well, that you've seen. It's hidden in the corner.
Oh, look at that.
It's the Panta Surge.
Which is this.
Yep, that's it right there. The Space Odyssey.
So this sits in the corner and does all the flow for this tank.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
We do have the return, but we tried to angle them in a way that doesn't really induce the flow too much. It's more of just an exchange between the filtration and the tank, whereas the movement we get is very purposeful. So what the beauty of this box is, and you may say, well, it's just a pump in a box, but it's a reversible pump. So when it's in the forward position, it's shooting the water this way and making all of these waves. Look at these moving right now. And then we set it to about 30 seconds in that direction, and then it's going to reverse. So it'll suck in water on the top and shoot at the bottom. And so then everything starts to go this way. And this is going to start to move now. You can see it's starting to go.
Yeah, it just kicked up.
This is a really cool effect. And this is a Marco rock coralline. It's the purple coralline rock. And so I set this up as this tier structure to kind of complement the box, kind of feeling like a wave would roll down.
Sure.
So we've got our highlight, acros on the top, and then the Euphyllia garden down the bottom.
And again, runoff Triton Core 7.
So this one does have a pretty nice, healthy refugium in here with Chaetomorpha. We're running it on a reverse photo period, so this is getting the base elements. So it's got the added traces to support like a lush, refugium down below.
So two reef tanks. It's changed gears to a freshwater tank.
Now, why did I do freshwater here, right? We don't sell freshwater. That's a really good question. But I mean, I think this is like paying some respects to where I got started. I think most of us got started probably with freshwater. And
my freshwater tank didn't look like this. So planted tank, CO2 injection on this tank?
There's no CO2. In fact, there are some plecos in here. So these plants would look better if they weren't in here. But I'm trying to do this little balance where I don't have plants per se that the plecos love to eat. The Java ferns, they don't really go after that much, and we keep them well fed. And then some of these other corkscrew like Vallisneria and some Anubias, they don't seem to mess with that too much. But yeah, this is just a healthy, natural tank, no CO2. The fish are providing some CO2 naturally. And low light, low tech tank is what we would call this.
Low light, but you've got Lumen Magic pixels over this thing.
Yes, yeah. Still low tech, but these are the freshwater pixels, which I happen to really love. It's hard to get that single light source LED shimmer, and I think it does a really good job.
And it's not in my eyes either, even though this is a rimless tank.
Right.
It's a nice presentation that looks very clean with the rimless look.
Yep, I have to agree.
But then we have this kind of more daylight looking shallow reef. Here, this tank isn't all the way full.
Is a 72-inch water box, which normally you'd have the water going in the top. But I took Julian sprungs in and out, if you know those. And I siliconed in some, actually I used, silicone, some of this screen to prevent things from going in, and I drilled the glass here. So I used a diamond bit and did an 1 3/4 hole, one on either side, silicone the back part of the in and out to there, and this becomes my screen pre-filter. And that allowed me to drop the water level to create more of a lagoon effect. I don't recommend that people drill their glass, but if you're a little DIY-ish, then you could do such a thing and not worry about maybe archerfish jumping out, or, you know, and then the mangroves look really good.
Minimal filtration I would get, and guess, on this tank, because it's all softies for the most part.
You got it. This was kind of an experiment. You know, we see now when we have very brightly lit aquariums that we kind of flip the script on nitrogen and phosphorus. Typically, we'd have an overabundance. And now we almost have it as a limiting factor. We have so much good lighting and good stable water parameters that the corals are growing so much, and we're so aware of not overstocking and not overfeeding that we run into nitrogen and phosphorus deficiencies. So a filtration typically helps to alleviate as a tool to remove that excess amount of nutrients. But if we don't overfeed, and we have very bright lit tanks and the water chemistry is good and it's filled with corals, you don't really need a filter. So that's what we experimented with here. This is just a sump. So occasionally we'll put a bag of carbon in there just to clean it up a little bit, get some of that yellowing out of it. But no, there's no filtration, there's no roller mat, there's no skimmer, there's no filter socks.
Nothing.
Any of those particulates that work their way through the filter system get coated in bacteria, work their way back up to the system, and prey capture is happening. All these polyps on the gogonians and this growing organ pipe coral and the clam are all filtering it out.
So minimal effort on this tank.
Minimal.
Just does this thing.
Yep, we see the consumption going up, 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 which means that the corals are growing.
Yep.
We're dosing more and more core 7 on this.
And we've got 6 pixels over here with the vitamin E's next to it as a supplement.
Correct.
In a nice rail system.
Yeah, and this rail system is dual function. It also acts as a heat sink. You can feel it's nice and warm. So it keeps these pixels cool, which allows Delua to sell the lights for a little bit less money because the form factor uses the rail to provide the cooling. So you don't need a fan, you don't need excess material and excess mass. And these aren't really controllable. You can't control the channels individually. You can ramp them up and ramp them down just by using this little baby controller.
Right.
Or you can plug it into like a wall timer.
And another tank over here that almost looks like a deep sand bed.
This was, my staff kind of gave me some flack for this because in the beginning we had some issues with some slime and then a little hair algae, and they were like, oh, you can't do a deep sand bed. Everything you read online says you can't. But I go way back where we actually did remote deep sand beds.
Yeah.
RDSB, whatever the acronym for it. But it works. And we just needed it to go through its ugly phase. We needed to crank up the refugium. We've got a strong pixel light on here now that actually just went on. And look at that catamorphin.
Oh gosh, you need to harvest that, Joe.
We do. We harvest it every week.
Wow.
So, you know, the beauty of a refugium, it kind of, if you have a really large refugium with a lot of algae growing, it puts pressure on the tank to feed it. So imagine it's like hungry, it's like a plant. It's like, give me more, give me more, give me more. There's nothing left for the nuisance algae that would otherwise grow in this tank with very bright lights. That with the mangrove is exporting a lot of the nutrients. So as long as we have some nitrate and some phosphate, some food that goes in for the corals and aminos, the clams, all the corals, they thrive, they do great. But this is gonna help to really keep everything balanced. And you get that phytoremediation as well. It's going to pull some toxic compounds out of the water, pull, you know, maybe some heavy metals out that otherwise might bioaccumulate, you know, things that could be in your foods.
And again, though, there's one power head. Looks like another Hydro Wizard running this thing.
That's our 42 Hydro Wizard. This ramps up to about 50-55%, and then you'll see the leather and the cispidal area start to move. They're all simple. This has got core 7. Like you open this up, we've got a doser in here dosing core 7, no frills. We do ICP testing. You know, we're fortunate enough to have the ICP lab upstairs. So we run our tests once a week, and then we have a cocktail blend for each tank basically, and we'll just add a little bit to those tanks. because every tank is going to pull different elements out of the water.
Sure.
You don't see it as much when you don't have a very robust coral cover. You know, just doing some water changes or dosing typically keeps things balanced. But as things start growing, let's say you got a lot of encrusting frags, all of a sudden that strontium starts dropping because the encrusting corals are pulling it out. Or you have a coral farm and you're fragging, they might use more molybdenum or strontium. So that's when the testing really comes in, you know, for the more extreme systems, where the people running a 600 par for 3 hours a day across an entire tank with colonies this big, you're going to start depleting elements like crazy. That's when that testing really, really comes in. And this is the one tank that when I watch this coral beauty do its thing, it connects me to when I started my first saltwater tank at like 14 years old. Just that kind of reminds me of why I do what I do.
Yeah.
It's hard to put into words, but you know, I tried so hard with the centropide family and I didn't do so well in 1987, 1988. I didn't have live rock, didn't really know what I was doing. They weren't imported that well, probably hit with cyanide. But this guy is years old now, doesn't bother anything, and that brings me back to my roots.
So what you're saying is that I can have any frag out of here that I want, I just pick them.
Yes,
and go
unlike those tanks in the showroom, this is where you can take frags from, and I probably wouldn't notice.
Great, okay, video's over. We're gonna go cut some frags, see, it's been fun.
So this is basically a working farm, and a lot of these corals would be bigger if we didn't cut into them, but this is what pays the bills.
Okay.
So we've built this tank with a Marco Rocks foundation, also by Reef Rock Oasis. He made everything, and then we drilled it. I think we used it was a 7/16" drill bit, and a frag plug goes into it very well. And the goal is to be able to grow the coral and then be able to take the frag plug out. You see some of them moving.
Grab them and frag them and put them right back.
That's the plan, yep. What I think we could do to perfect that is to actually maybe take another piece and glue it on the bottom of the frag plug. And sometimes when the panerai hits it just right, it could knock over. So if we just have a longer stem in there, it's not going to move out.
Okay.
You know, everything is an evolving process.
Sure, it's never done.
Yeah.
You could always make it better.
I joke with my friend Joe Caparatta. He posts a picture of his tank. I'm like, when is it? Is it done yet? Those words don't work for a reef tank.
No, never. All right, so this is 800 gallons?
500.
500 gallon
Yep.
tank, powered by a bunch of X4s.
Yep.
And then filtration is somewhere else. What do you do?
Yeah, we've got a standard like Berlin-style sump. You know, no refugium. Well, there is a Paxbellum running on here, but we don't have. It's just a 180-gallon old fish tank that we glued in some glass partitions, kind of DIY style. Yeah. But it works. I mean, you don't need the fancy polished acrylic. Nothing against that, but you don't need it. Yeah. So we've got a Berlin-style sump with an Abyss pump as the return for this. Abyss 200, and the flow in here is 4 Pantarais.
Oh, 4.
Yeah, so you could work with just the 263s. I mean, even one was working. There's really only one on at any one point. So what we're doing is we're running this one for about 6 hours a day, and all the water is shooting this way. And then they both go on chaotic for about an hour, and then this one goes off and this one stays on. I'm sorry, it doesn't go off, it reverses. But it's not that powerful. Like, you don't see the water really moving like crazy in reverse, but the water is sucking in and shooting out.
Okay.
So we're getting those changing flow patterns, and it really just helps to keep detritus from settling. You're hitting the polyps on all sides of the coral, and you're better replicating natural water movement.
I mean, yeah, the whole tank looks great. We've got lots of polyp extension, lots of fun flow going on.
Oh, yeah.
But I have to know, where's the pearlberry?
Oh, I don't think there is a pearlberry. This guy looks like pearlberry.
It doesn't exist. It's a ghost.
Yeah, I don't think there's a pearlberry in here. This is your red planet. That's your iconic ORA red planet.
Yeah.
We've got red dragon, which everybody knows.
Mm-hmm. But which one is your favorite, Joe?
You know, I'm still partial to this one.
There you go.
But they're all my favorites. Some of the Montes, like the Setosa over here, is really cool.
Yes.
The tips look like electric blue.
Yeah.
And then we've got our Contraband Monte. That's the base with the red mixed in is just awesome.
But there's no Montipora ondata.
No. We have a big one over there, though.
Oh.
It's about 2 feet across.
The little stepchild that gets put in the corner.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Oh, the Fox Flame. Another one of my favorites.
Always a good one.
Yep.